use logic and emotion to support her position and to avoid using notes. I'd like to introduce Cheryl doing her speech entitled A Taboo Subject.
Sex used to be a taboo subject, but that subject has been replaced by another unmentionable, death. Today, I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not going to talk about death. I'm talking about death. And the reason that we need to look at the fact that every single one of us in this room, including myself, will die someday. Now, most people don't want to look at that, but I have found it to be a great gift. I have worked for hospice for the last 17 years, and many people will say, well, of course we know that we're going to die. Everybody knows that. But as I have sat with people at the end of their life, I have often heard, I thought I had more time. Life just got away from me. And so I know that as I have done most of my life until I worked with hospice, we walk around with blinders on and pretend like it's not going to happen to us. But when we really face that reality, there's a lot of power in that. For most of my life, I have lived as if I was going to forever. And when we live that way, when we live as if we're never going to die, there's three things that happen. We live as if we have all the time in the world to accomplish what we want to accomplish. We postpone our dreams. And then time slips away, and it doesn't happen. When we live as if we're going to live forever, we get complacent. We get into a rut. I'm sure you all have experienced this, where we get up, we go to work, we go home, we have dinner, we watch a movie, we go to bed, we get up, we go to work, we go home, we have dinner. We get into a rut because there's not a sense of urgency. That sense of urgency can help move us forward. The other thing that happens when we live as if we're not going to die is our priorities get askew. People work 80-hour work weeks to get more stuff. They neglect their relationships. And those relationships fall away. So then I sit with people at the end of their lives, and they're alone. So I now face death head on. I met a guy, his name was Steve, and he was one of my hospice patients. He was diagnosed with a terminal illness and was told that he had a year to live. I met him at the end of that year. When I met him, he told me that last year, the year after his terminal diagnosis, was the best year of his life. The best year of his life because it gave him freedom. He stopped worrying about what people thought. He started doing what brought him joy. And the good news is we don't have to wait until we have a terminal diagnosis to live that way. For me, as I face death head on, as I look at it, I ask myself three questions frequently. The first is, if I had a year to live or 6 months to live, what would I do? What would I choose to do with that last year? This is a powerful question. And when we ask ourselves this question, it gives us some guidance onto where we need to put our focus. The other thing that I ask myself is, if I died today, if I walked out of here and was hit by a car and gone, what would be my biggest regret? What would I regret not doing? Because when I look at that, then I can shift my focus to, okay, well, I still have time. I can do what I want to do. And the third question that I ask is, how do I leave How did you leave your loved ones when you walked out that door? Did you tell them that you loved them? Did you kiss them goodbye? Did you argue? Because if this is your last day on earth and that's their memory, there's going to be a lot of, as a grief counselor, I know, there's going to be a lot of struggle around how things were left. When I have worked with my hospice patients, I remember one lady in particular, I was leaving her one day, and I felt this desire to go back and tell her how much she meant to me, that I really made a special connection with her. But I looked at my watch and I thought, I don't have time right now. I need to get to my next appointment. I'll tell her later. Well, later didn't come. She died that week. And I was so disappointed that I didn't get to tell her how much she meant to me. So I've learned to speak what's on my heart whenever I'm leaving someone. I don't want to have anything left unsaid. And so today, I urge you to look. I'm not asking you to obsess over how you're going to die and when it's going to happen, but I encourage you to become aware of the fact that we are only temporarily on this planet in these bodies. Norman Cousins says, death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies inside of us while we live. So I urge you to connect with that which you desire to create in your life and make it happen now. Thank you.